So with Hogwarts Legacy only a few weeks away now, it feels like we're slowly getting towards the game's release date, and hopefully we have no delays, no nothing of that, but we have got a few bits of information that have been seen circulating around Twitter, around different FAQs, and obviously answers from Hogwarts Legacy's support themselves. So obviously the big one that was coming out is a possible delay, and we don't have a delay, it's absolutely fine. So the main thing was on PC, Steam actually updated the Hogwarts Legacy and the release date was gone. So obviously this will cause a bit of panic for the fact that normally if that sort of thing happens, you find that maybe there's a pushback, there might be some issues, they don't want to keep that release date, but there was answers back from the support team saying it was just an update, it wasn't meant to disappear, and it has now been reinstated and the normal date is actually in progress. So that's a big thing. No more delays, hopefully. Now we're only weeks away. It would be absolutely crucial of them to not do anything. But I think the big thing that we've got to keep in mind, if there is a delay, I would like to think that they'll do it if it's going to be jeopardizing the game. We saw a lot of games push a release date to the actual day and there's bugs everywhere. I would hope to think this game is ready and raring, and if it's not, I would accept another week or two, even if the game has been a long time coming and now we're so close. It would be a little bit of a heartbreak for it to disappear and be pushed back. But if the game is not ready fully, I would much rather have it in March if that was the case. But so far so good. There is no delays across any more consoles so far with any news. I'll keep you up to date if we find any more from that. And a big one with obviously the saving aspect of the game, because obviously there is different paths that you can choose. Obviously the 4 houses are going to be absolutely massive for you to get through and use all of them, and the only way you can do that is either finishing one, starting all 4 at the same time, or just being able to kind of go through the game quickly and then move on to the next character. The answer back from this was actually taken from FAQ. You'll be able to have 4 separate character slots, 2 types of saving in the game, 5 will be auto, 10 will be manual. The main reason for this is obviously families have maybe one console and multiple siblings that need to play the game, want to play the game. So it wouldn't be fair to have one save and one save only. So for instance, you go for Slytherin first, but you want to go and try a Gryffindor run through, or then go to a Hufflepuff run through and have to resave over everything. That for me would be a little bit bonkers, but it has happened in many games. It is kind of a norm, which you wouldn't think it is. People like multiple saves. We see it in a lot of games that naturally have multiple progressions. You can play the game, maybe do a different style, maybe try a different way. A lot of people like different things. For instance, in Pokemon, you can do Nuzlocke, you can do all of the different ways of catching shinies, but you have to go over a game file if you're not using an emulator or something like that. So obviously that is a big news coming out, that you will be able to have multiple saves on this game. To just do your 4 saves, but then also if siblings want to play as well, they will also have their own slot. Big news coming out now is if you have already pre-ordered the standard edition of Hogwarts Legacy, can you upgrade for the deluxe? Is there any way of buying the DLC without necessarily paying another excess of £65-70? This at the moment has been answered that there is no update for that. If you've bought the normal version, the only way at this moment in time is to go and buy the deluxe version. If obviously you've pre-ordered from game or something, you can obviously return if the policy allows you, yada yada. In terms of release dates, you should be able to do that, but I can imagine a lot of people have done it online, so it is just a digital download, which I believe there is no way without maybe contacting PlayStation or Xbox or maybe Steam. Doubt it very much at this moment in time, but the one thing they did throw a little bit of a nugget out is DLCs can come out. So for instance, you do have the pre-order bonus of obviously all of the extra content, but that may come out in the future as a standalone DLC. So if you did miss out on buying the deluxe and missing out on the 72 hours early launch, you can then potentially go and buy the extra content after the game's release date. They haven't confirmed that, but they've just thrown that little bit of a nugget out for you. And finally, the big one that has been speculated a little bit. I must admit, I never really thought about it until kind of brought to the question is there going to be a multiplayer in Hogwarts Legacy? It would actually be really decent to be able to have maybe even a side mode where it's kind of using a the Hogwarts actual grounds, but you're in an online setting. Maybe some mini games, maybe you show off your dorm room, all of your excess wands and different attire. But unfortunately, that one has been closed down as well. At this moment in time, there isn't actually any information on multiplayer. The Hogwarts came out themselves and said this is meant to be a single-player game. It doesn't mean it's completely off the table, but at this moment in time, there is no news on multiplayer. I think that one could be a really nice one and maybe a nice DLC in the future, but would be a big upgrade. Personally, I wouldn't mind paying for that if it was just an extra download on top to be able to have maybe a replica Hogwarts ground that you could potentially either do missions, you could even do anything Hogwarts games. I would love to see, obviously, a Quidditch game that you could do online. It's asking a little bit too much if it's not already in, but it's definitely not out of the question, as this game is built for a longevity, to be honest. With the 4 characters, as well as actually just playing through, it would be a very interesting thing to add. And finally, the last bit of information would be the cross-play service. So, for instance, the cross-progression of maybe having a PS4 and, say, in 2-3 months' time, you've been surprised or you've managed to go and pick up a PS5. Would your save go over from PS4 to PS5? And they have answered this back in an FAQ again and saying, at this moment in time, again, unfortunately, there is no actual way of doing this. It is not designed to go across, so it would technically be a PS4 save, a PS5 save, an Xbox One save, and an Xbox One Series S or X save. But the big extra little bit of nugget information from this one is the fact that they have taken the request and they have sent it to the game team. So this seems like a throwaway comment. Personally, whenever somebody says that, you're kind of getting people off your back sometimes. And it could be go of one of 2 ways. They could have been saying this and they've just said that they've said it to the game team. They're all laughing about it. They're like, no, we can't do this. But there is a small chance that it has been with enough requests. I know this was mainly done on Twitter, so there is a lot of people that will obviously send this request and bombard Hogwarts Legacy with the chance of the cross-progression play. Obviously, this again would be after the game's release, so if you are planning on either upgrading your console or you're not necessarily wanting to play on the PS4 for a long time, then definitely take the interest that this is not going to be a quick fix as of yet. So we have only got a couple of weeks. I can imagine we might be a solid month or 2 into the game before we hear any more of this. Again, that is just speculation. We may not hear anything or we may hear something, but I think progression of the game would actually be a really nice thing to go cross-platform. I think for me that would actually be probably a thing that they should have added purely based on a PS4 and a PS5 save. Even if then maybe you transferred from PS4 to Xbox, I know that might be a little bit tricky with obviously the side quest you get for exclusive PlayStation, but people chop and change all the time. There's no set ways of just staying on one Xbox, especially if there's new news in the Sony for the PS5 Slim that could upgrade to another one. So is it the question of, is it a PS5 or is it a PS5 Slim? That again would be interesting, but I feel like if it's a PS5, it's a PS5. They run on the same operating system. They have the same everything. It is just the actual aesthetics of the console. So that one should be not a problem if we do get that, and to be honest, that'll be a long time in the future where I feel like you might have finished the game by then. And that's all the news that we've got so far. We are getting very, very close, so if we see any more leaks, information, anything posted, I'll keep you posted with another video. So if you want to subscribe with them notifications on, we'll bring you the news as soon as we get it. So hopefully you enjoyed. Make sure you like and subscribe. Catch you all for the next one. Peace.